your thoughts on if Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. Do you see it one way or the other?
Ken and I have a very strong kind of connection as friends, but also in the answer to that question. Shall we give them the answer? Okay, ready?
Both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you feeling? Day three here. These fine folks of Columbus been treating you guys well?
Oh,
Yeah, it's been great.
yeah.
Big crowds, happy people.
Yeah.
And here we are in 2023 celebrating the 30th anniversary of Nightmare Before Christmas. How about that, right? Now, both of you have done a lot of projects. Did you think that when you first signed on to this project, when you first heard about this project, that it would be something that is celebrated? Here we are 30 years later, and the fandom is still growing.
It seems that Nightmare Before Christmas has sort of taken over Halloween. Every place I go. And
Absolutely.
in fact, I was in Europe, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. In London, there were Jack statues and Oogie effigies and all sorts of things all over the place. So it's
We
worldwide.
are Halloween.
We are Halloween.
Yeah, I think with a project, nobody ever knows, right? You do it, you do the best work you can, whoever connected, studio, blah, blah. And you never know what's going to happen. But I think a 30-year run is extraordinary for anything. I can't think of another project unless it's been reinfused that's had the same trajectory. But this one has just been growing all the way since the beginning, I think.
Yeah, it's really quite extraordinary. I mean, I don't know that there's a way to predict when you're working on something that it's going to be special. But I think I certainly felt when I first saw the storyboards and I saw some of the film that had already been animated, that it was unusual and remarkable and just, it was really quite extraordinary. But I had no real sense of what it was going to be like when it was first put together.
I've heard you tell a story about how you were able to get some advanced, not even pre-screener footage, but pre-footage. And that was kind of when you knew that there's something here.
Well, there's that baby. Where's that baby? Is the baby in the speaker or is it there? Oh, hi, baby. Anyway, what happened was that I was sent literally a VHS, black and white, with what they call a time code across the bottom of it. This is because constant sort of stream of information going across the bottom of the screen. So there were all kinds of distractions when I was looking at it, because I was going to go in and work with Tim Burton on redoing some of the lines. And yeah, I know. So I put it in the machine, and I had my little notepad out, and my kids were in the next room. They were very young. And I'm watching, and and suddenly I realized there are these three little people standing around me, and they're like this. And they stayed for the whole thing. And they were, at the time, I think my son was like 2, and one of my daughters was 5, 6, and 8. But they were just mesmerized. And I thought, oh, that's what, okay, all right.
And one of the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I didn't really see the film until I went to I think it was the premiere at Lincoln Center in New York. And I didn't know what it was. I mean, I saw, storyboards and things like that, but I had no idea. I'd seen none of my own work put to animation, And it blew me away. I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I didn't have any relationship to it. By the time I saw it, it was like somebody else had recorded it. It didn't feel like me. It didn't sound like me. But I loved it. And I thought, I don't know how well this is going to do, but I know it's an artistic achievement for sure. So, we've lucked out on all counts at this point, I think.
And one of the amazing things, as you mentioned, it is Halloween, and it's taken over Halloween. But this movie is one of the few that extends another holiday into Christmas. And here we are, obviously, during the Halloween time, you do a lot of conventions, you talk about that, but here we are in December. It is December, right? Here we are in December, and we still get to talk about it and celebrate it. So, as you said, it's taken over Halloween, it's taken over Christmas, especially at the Disney parks, right? They have the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which Jack and Oogie Boogie are a part of. Have you been able to go to the parks to experience any of these festivities?
Yeah, I've been to the Disney park in California, and they have the Oogie Boogie Bash, which is, and again, it was the thing where you do recording stuff, as we do, but you don't know what they're going to do with it, Right. And I went there, and it's a big show. It's amazing. It really is. But I was able to ride around and see all the stuff. It's only, I think maybe twice I've been there, but that particular time, that show was on. So it's amazing, and to see how people enjoy it and how it all works beyond the recording booth, right?
Yeah, no, is my answer. No, I haven't seen any of them yet.
We got to get you there.
Pick up the phone and call.
All right, everybody tweet at Bob Iger right now. He's not busy or anything.
Yeah. Bob, baby, come on.
And then along with that, has anybody been to Disneyland in California and ridden the Haunted Mansion at Halloween and Christmas time, the Haunted Mansion holiday, where they completely transform Haunted Mansion into Nightmare Before Christmas? Ken, were you able to see that?
Yeah, that was the first time I went. I was there to see that, right? And it is, again, it's amazing because you go through it, and I've been to the Haunted Mansion before, but how they actually do the overlay or the transformation into Nightmare Before Christmas is pretty genius. And again, I didn't relate to it. It was like, who was that weird, crazy man talking to me? Come back, that kind of crazy stuff.
Do you have any merchandise, any collectibles, any things like that from Nightmare Before Christmas at home? Do you collect anything?
Well, I don't collect anything. I was given a few things after the shoot. I have, I think, 4 or 5 of the original Jack heads. There were some, 400 or 500, maybe more. And I also have Jack's blackboard that he worked on when he's trying to figure out the formula.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Just those 2, but they're great. Yeah.
Those are really cool.
I don't actually have them now, but I had the dice with the snake coming out. Don't even do it. What did I do with them? Don't ask. But at any rate, I had them, and they were great. And I think there were like 3 sizes, they said. There was a smaller, medium, and these were the actual big ones that they did. So I had those, and I have a lot of memorabilia stuff that they put out and then they discontinue it. So it's collectible kind of immediately, I have a tombstone clock, a plate that was done, all kinds of stuff through the years.
But I don't think that many people really have an idea of what the scale of the actual sets were. I know that the blackboard is approximately this size. I have to put the mic down for a second. So it's not tiny. So the Jack figure was probably this tall, but they're not huge either. And the sets were relatively small. One set would be maybe the size of this area that we're sitting in now.
Very intricate.
Yeah.
I mean, the detailing was amazing.
Oh, God.
From every, the construction and the painting
Yeah.
and everything. So that when it's filmed, it looks, I guess you have to think of it that way when you're constructing and painting it.
Yeah. I mean, I have such a kind of fanboy admiration for the animators, particularly the people who constructed all this stuff, and also the guys and women who went through each moment, literally each frame by frame, in order to get the characters to move in a lifelike way and to create such wonderful sort of scenes of joy and of sadness at the same time. They're extraordinary artists, those people.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. I think they should give the movie an honorary Oscar.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean it's a watershed or whatever you call it, achievement. I mean, there's been things since then, but even the things that have come along since then, yes, I'm a little prejudiced, but they have not. Nothing has been quite the achievement that Nightmare Before Christmas has. So I think if they gave it an award, it would kind of set a hallmark for all the artists who worked on it, because they deserve that kind of recognition. I mean the actual hands-on artists. Not that we would mind having a little Oscar about ourselves, but but for those people, they really deserve that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
And everything gets compared to Nightmare from this point forward. As you said, there have been projects since then, but they get compared to. And as you talk about, the work that goes into it, I'm sure you've been asked at your tables, and as very recently it's come into the social spotlight. Director Harry Selick said that he would like to see
Henry
Selick say that he would like to see a prequel about Halloween Town, about the origins of Jack, and of course, spoilers, it didn't work out for Oogie at the end of the movie, but if there was a prequel, we would be able to see hopefully some more.
There are books out, aren't there? There's a comic book out about them at an early age, right? So they've got the template, I guess, yeah.
You mean Jack and Sally were actually kids? Skeleton children?
Skeleton children.
Ooh. I do know that this has, created quite a stir online, but I think the most recent thing that I saw was that Tim basically put the kibosh on everything. He basically said, look, this means a lot to me. It came from someplace, very deep in my psyche, and I'm not interested in either moving forward or backward in the story. Let's let the story exist as it is.
I think it's doing okay. I mean, it doesn't really need to.
So you kind of agree with Tim in the fact that as a standalone, it shouldn't be touched with, that maybe that its legacy could possibly be tarnished with a reboot, a sequel, a prequel?
As things sometimes are.
And I don't know, it just seems like it's an entity of its own. I mean, the tendency now, as we know, is sequels and prequels and brickles and brackles and things. But it really, I think the specialness of it is that it's singular and there is nothing else before or after. And I think that's why it continues to grow. And I think if it was prequeled or sequeled, it would take away from the actual, which is the real thing, I think.
This is not to say that if somebody decided
we'd say no.
Do it. Yeah, exactly. And also, I think we're really blessed in the sense that I know Ken gets to do the concerts with Danny Elfman, where they do all the music for the movie, or they do the music with the movie, depending. I get to do a lot of recording sessions and revisit. I've revisited Jack any number of times. I just finished one. They're doing a live show in Los Angeles in a theater that has a storyline to it in which there is a Jack giant puppet, and I won't say anything more except that I'm not sure if it's up and running yet, but it will be. We get to sort of still be around the characters.
Yeah, it's almost like a refreshment of itself, and being able to go and re-record lines, change a little bit of dialogue.
It just came to me as you were saying that is the sequel, isn't it? Yeah. That we get to still do the video games and the things that have come after and all the events and stuff like that. So those are the sequels, really, aren't they?
Absolutely. So there is a microphone right there if you guys have any questions. While folks start lining up, I want to ask you about your thoughts on if Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. Do you see it one way or the other?
Ken and I have a very strong kind of connection as friends, but also in the answer to that question. Shall we give them the answer? Okay, ready?
Both.
You guys agree? I'm gonna tend to agree. Hello. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Brennan, and I just wondered what the process was like with you getting connected to the project or auditioning, and how you got attached.
For me, I was just told, I don't know, I had a misunderstanding. I thought Danny Elfman had talked to my lawyer, who represents both of us, but I was refreshed, let's say, by Richard Kraft, who works on the production, that he made the call, to Mark Sindroff, who's a lawyer, and said, we need somebody who has sort of a quality of a Cab Calloway and a da-da-da-da-da. And my lawyer said, "Have I got the guy for you?" So they called me up, and like I said, I never remembered that I auditioned. I think I did. Maybe I didn't know I was auditioning, But I went up to San Francisco and sang for them, blah, blah, blah. But the actual germination of it was between business people, sort of business creative people, but that's how it often happens.
And as far as I'm concerned, Danny Elfman had already recorded most of the music, and they had animated a lot of the music, and they decided they wanted somebody to do the voice, and so they just auditioned people, and I went in and auditioned. I had the advantage of having heard Danny's voice singing the songs, and I called me a couple of days later and said, "You're Jack." So it was, just one of those sort of serendipitous things, really.
Thank you.
You. Hello.
Hi, my name is Riley, and my question is, how do you think the story would go if their roles were reversed? Like, Oogie was trying to take over Christmas, and Jack was, like, underground torturing people. It's kind of a chaotic question.
Ooh.
I know, right? That's a good question. Yeah. We have no idea.
Yeah. And I thank Ken for answering for both of us.
Well, thank you anyway.
Sure.
Hello.
My name's Kurt. If Jack and Oogie Boogie take over another holiday, which ones do you think they would be interested in?
Ooh. Another holiday for Jack? Gosh, he covered pretty much all of them.
No, they're all in.
Well, maybe, to be kind of ecumenical, Hanukkah. And I'm Greek Easter, which is different, often celebrated on a different date, and some of the traditions are different for Greek Easter as they are. So, I think maybe just Jack would become, as he kind of does in the movie, much more kind of all-inclusive. So every holiday that could be celebrated, Jack would want to do it.
I guess what's coming to my mind, and this is really crazy, it's like a African-American 4th of July backyard barbecue. That's what I was thinking. Oogie's at the grill, more hot sauce, That's all I can think of.
Thank you.
I can't get that image out of my head now.
The thing is, I know for a fact there are probably some amazing artists out here in the audience. And the next time you show up here at the GalaxyCon,
please do. I want to see it.
You will have a copy of that at your table.
And by the way, I would like, and I'm sure Ken feels the same way, would like to thank all of you who bring us your drawings of the characters, because some of the work is just extraordinary. You're amazing, by the way.
Really beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hello.
Hi. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for basically being my childhood. I am going to make sure that my children watch this movie, if that's how much it means to me. But my question was, what has been your favorite part about either making the movie or having the movie grow?
I would say for me, making the movie, of course, as we've spoken about, was an amazing gift. The second half of the gift has been watching it grow, like you're saying about your children. We're now 30 years on from when it came out, so that's basically 3 generations that have come, and they bring their children, and then they watch, and they blah, blah, blah. So we've had that kind of thing happen, which, again, I think we said at the beginning, is rare. For me, I love just watching how it just keeps extending into video games, and we said in the live music part of it, concerts and these things and all this time. It's amazing to me. I mean, we've both done a lot of work, but I can say for myself, nothing I've done anywhere has ever equaled the outreach and the ongoing evolution that this has.
Yeah, I have to agree with Ken, because it has been. I remember so many things about the shooting, and that is flying up to San Francisco every 3 months, and I would record a few scenes with Henry Selick, and then they would animate the scenes. But I never worked. Ken and I didn't really know each other until we started doing cons together. Because we didn't actually do any of the scenes together. And I only did 1 day of work with Sally, with Catherine O'Hara. But I have that, all those memories are to me like they're kind of yesterday because they're so vivid. It was such an extraordinary experience. The making of it was, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. First off, I just want to say you guys are like one of my absolute favorite characters, and Oogie is like one of my favorite Disney villains. I wanted to ask, what is your all-time favorite line from the movies?
Oh. Yeah, were you asking me?
Both of you.
Both of us. All-time favorite line, I think, just because I had to say it so many different ways. Eureka, Christmas will be ours, because it's such a sort of essentially Jack. He was so sort of thrilled by the idea that he was going to take over something and do it in such a way that it was going to make it like totally different, and people were going to come his way, and they were going to realize that the Jack's Christmas is the real Christmas. There's something about the naivete on the one hand and the hubris on the other that is so essentially the character.
I think mine is, well, what have we here?
Yeah.
And mostly because once I'd said it myself, I would realize it's in a gazillion movies and things. People walk in the room, Barbara Stanwyck, and people walk in the room, I mean, all kinds of it, and they say, well, what have we here? I thought, I didn't know that was, I'm sure the writers knew, hello, but I didn't know that was such an iconic line, so I've discovered it, and since I said it, now I look for it in movies. People walk through the door, they're going to say it? They're going to say it? That's my favorite.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to agree. I say that line all the time, and when I do though, I say it as Oogie, like all the time.
Now wait a minute. But before, when you said it, before the movie came out, did you say it
I don't know. I don't think I did.
as you?
As me? No.
So you've only said it as Oogie Boogie?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Royalties.
Hello. Well, let me get out of this. Hello.
Hey, do you have any favorite characters, obviously, besides yourselves from the movie?
What's the character in the wheelchair? What's his
Why?
doctor?
Dr. Finkelstein.
Yeah.
Finkel, what is it?
Finkelstein.
Finkel's thing of the, yeah. Him. I like him a lot just because I think you're probably too young to even know who this is, but I think he sounds like Betty Davis to me. Oh, Jack. Oh, Sally. It sounds like.
And I must say, I have any number of favorites. I love the vampire who kind of is roaming around for some obvious reasons. And also, there's so many very small characters all the way through the movie. The guy that goes, Bone Daddy, which is my favorite name for Jack, by the way. And there's so many, the musician, the saxophone player.
What's the three? Is that what you're doing with the vampires? Those three that move around together all the
I
time?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, I love them too.
But there's just so many. It's hard to, I love the mayor with the revolving head. There's so many imaginative little moments in the movie that are just, and one of the reasons I think why it has an enduring popularity is because you notice different things every time you watch it.
And you also think about, just to add to that, that each one of those little character people, places, persons, are different. The whole place is populated and there's no repeats. So you get all of those different little, and when, like you said, you see it 100 times, there's some character you didn't zoom on the last time. Yeah. And there's somebody in the corner going, wiggle, 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 and it's kind of fun.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Cassie.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
I am one of the older ones in here. I actually went and saw this.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Not older than me.
I actually went and saw this movie while I was in kindergarten. So I'm one of the original kids that have seen this movie and grew up with this movie. And my kids have grown up with this movie. And my lovely husband bought me a 13-foot Jack Skellington that is in our front yard as we speak because he's also Christmas.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say you guys are amazing. You made my life amazing and my childhood amazing. My kids love you to death. And I guess my question is, since this movie was very early in Tim Burton's career, did you guys, as voice actors, get to interact with like Catherine O'Hara and Paul Rubens like during making the movie, or wasn't until like after the movie was made that you guys got to interact as all the characters of the movie? Like, did you guys get to like table read together, or
What's the question?
Did,
like?
did you
okay,
get did you get
sorry.
to
Like-
did you record alone in a studio, or did you
Did you
record?
get to like be with Paul
I think I've
Rubens?
already mentioned that I never worked with anybody until Catherine O'Hara one day.
One
That was
day.
it. The rest of the time I was by myself all the time.
And I never recorded with anybody. I mean, Henry
by
Selick
yourself.
was in the booth, and Danny was there when I recorded the vocals, singing, and the lines, But no other character artists were there. I think that's one of the miracles of the film to me, and I guess it's always the way, is that out of 20 takes of a line,
Yeah.
they pick one, say 2 characters, that's 40 takes, and they sound like you're actually talking to each other when you weren't anywhere near each other, and it still sounds like a cohesive conversation.
Yeah.
That's an editing job that's amazing to me, sound editing,
Yeah, and the director's choice too. The choices the director makes in terms of this take goes with this take, goes with this take, goes with it's a house of cards.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you for being the 30-year veteran.
Hooray!
Hello.
Hello, my name is Heidi. I have followed you guys for a really long time as well, so I have a granddaughter who absolutely loves everybody in the movie. She tries to do Oogie Boogie's voice quite often, and it's cute. But my question is, I know that we're here about, Nightmare Before Christmas, but I know you guys have done other roles. Is there another role other than Jack and Oogie that holds a special place for you guys?
Oh,
Look at you.
go ahead.
They're like children roles. Who's your favorite? Well, you love them all. You know what I mean? The only one I would say, and I think it's because it's available to be seen and has been seen now for, I guess, 20 years, if not almost 30, is I was fortunate to recreate my Broadway role in the original cast of Cats as Old Deuteronomy. And we we got to do a film version of the stage show in like 96, 7, something like that. And it holds a special place because I know a lot of people still get to see it well beyond being on stage. So I would mention that one, But other than that, I mean, I love them all. We're lucky to get to do the things we get to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been lucky also to have The Princess Bride, it was a wonderful experience, as well as being a great memory for me, and has the same, actually, interestingly, the same kind of trajectory that Nightmares had, which was that it was not terribly popular when it first came out. It was okay, it did fine, but has become part of the culture now. But also, I've had a bunch of really great things that I've been able to do. But one that I think about that people don't know much about was I did a Hallmark Hall of Fame CBS production of The Tale of Two Cities, where I got to play both of the major characters, totally different guys, and that in my heart, is so much it was important to me because it was a kind of an extension of my stage career, because I'd done a lot of shows in New York and regional theater, what have you. But it was a great kind of historical epic and a great novel, and it just had a lot of things going for it. And I shot in Paris and in London. I mean, it was just a very sort of romantic. Still has a romantic ideal in my mind, anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. My question is, I noticed once you stepped on stage immediately that your voices were very distinctly similar to the characters. Have you ever been mistaken in public, just getting coffee, someone been like, oh, you sound like Jack or Oogie Boogie?
Never for me. I have never been mistaken for Jack, except when I lose a lot of weight, I guess. No, I can't think of a time. Some other characters, yes, but not Jack. And in fact, I noticed this last time when I recorded, the director kept telling me, you got to go up a little bit in your octave. You're down here too much. That Jack lives somewhere up here in my vocal range rather than down in my natural range.
Yeah, no, I have never been, I've had people remark that I sounded sort of like something. That's what they'll say. Your voice sort of sounds familiar. And I go, yeah, that'll be a latte with a, but they've never identified it,
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. As often happens with actors in general, and that is if you're a character actor, that is you do lots of different kinds of roles, people think they went to high school with you. They look at you like, wait a minute, no, yeah, what, you, no. Or I get, people often say to me, Michael Sarandon. No.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Alexi. I just wanted to say my siblings and I love you, and it's one of the few movies we can all agree on that doesn't end in fighting. But my little sister, Molly, loves Oogie Boogie. She adores him. Would you mind saying hi to her for me? She couldn't be here with me today.
Okay. I can't say it as Oogie, but I can say, hi, what's your name?
Molly.
Hi, Molly. Happy something. Are you having a birthday?
No.
Happy day.
Thank you.
Happy panel day.
And quick question, if you were allowed to be in another Tim Burton movie, what character would you want to be?
A new one. No, really, he's so brilliant in his creativity. I'm sure there must be something you can think of that I could do, right?
Yeah, I can't think of any of Tim's movies that I would be necessarily, you'd slot into, but yes, a new one. Just, I'm sure you call him maybe a couple of times a week. Tell him. We're available.
Yep.
Thank you.
Tweet at Tim Burton. He, again, another person who has nothing else going on. Just tweet at him. Hello.
Hi, my name is Rob. My daughter and I absolutely love your movie. Some years we watch it at Halloween, some years we watch it at Christmas, sometimes both, but it's part of our annual holiday tradition. My question for you is two-part. One, what's your favorite holiday? And what's your favorite holiday tradition?
I have two, and they mostly have to do with family. Thanksgiving, because all the family gets together on Thanksgiving, including all my kids, my grandchildren, my ex-wife, her kids, their kids. And it becomes, this last Thanksgiving, we had 31 people at Thanksgiving, and everybody cooks. So it's it's like 2 days of preparation and 1 day of actually cooking all day for half an hour of eating. But it's worth it because you're together and you're preparing things together, and it becomes a part of a, my ex-wife's husband, who's a wonderful man, he always does the carving. Everybody sort of fits into their slot on Thanksgiving, and it's really wonderful. And the other one is Greek Easter, because I'm Greek, and the holiday means a lot to me because it's the way I was brought up, and I'm also trying to make sure that my grandchildren understand their heritage, and it's very much a part of their heritage. So those are the two for me. Arithostan esti.
And not because of the film, but Halloween has always been my favorite holiday. I love Christmas because Christmas is Christmas. I got to put them both together in one thing. But Halloween was always, even as a little kid, because as a theater thespian coming into you got to dress up, and go out and pretend to be something you weren't and all that. So I think all of that had to do with it. Candy didn't hurt, a little trick or treat. And in my grade school, every Halloween we had half a day of school, which was always great. And they would show a movie. I mean, like The Incredible Shrinking Man and all these, kind of Halloween-y kind of things. The Attack of the Puppet People, things like that. And we'd get a bag of candy with cupcakes in it. So I looked forward to Halloween. And then that night I got to go trick-or-treat, and it was just great. And now I can honestly say, and this may sound crazy, but to be at the epicenter of Halloween makes my little heart so happy. You know, when I see little kids dressed up as Jack and Oogie and Sally, I think, yes, you know, I have contributed to my favorite holiday.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I just wanted to piggyback on the legacy thing. My Aunt Amy, she loves Nightmare Before Christmas. She decorates her whole house for Halloween,
Wow.
and she's passed it down to me and my cousin, and then we have now passed it down to my daughter, who was screaming earlier, and my niece Cassidy. So my question is when you guys have played the movies for your children, you know, do they kind of have like a oh my gosh moment when they realize that that's you on the movie?
When my kids were little, I think I described the scene of my kids watching it. And it's more now the grandchildren. And the grandkids are all kind of cuckoo over it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because it's not me, my image on the screen, so they don't quite get
Associate.
it. Quite, you know? I mean, there were certainly are times when, like The Princess Bride, which a lot of the kids like, sometimes the little ones will, if I'm there, will do this. Here's the screen, and they're over here watching, and they're basically going, I mean, they just can't quite figure it out.
It's interesting. I don't have children, but I have a lot of godchildren and nieces and nephews and things. And they've all graduated through stages. You know, when they were little, like Chris, they were kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever, you're the voice of somebody, we don't care. You know what I mean? We like it, but we don't connect you to it, right? Now there's some of them in their 20s, some are teens, and it is a cool factor beyond. You know what I mean? I have my one godson. He came when he was like about 8 or 9 or something like that. And then he came again a few years ago. And this is at the Hollywood Bowl where we do the music thing of it. And he just came this last October with his girlfriend. So he came with a date, and they had 2 friends with them. I got them really great tickets. And he was like, yes, Uncle Kenny. You've given me life. You've given me life. And I thought, isn't that something? Watch the trajectory, you know, through the years of how they've appreciated and what they think of it. And my one niece is like, she says, I don't want to tell you this, but I tell everybody that, you know. She said, because they're having conversations about Nightmare Before Christmas. She said, I cannot not say, by the way, you know.
So you give them street cred.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure. And just an addendum to that, sometimes I know you guys probably are aware of the fact that a lot of people who are big movie stars, sometimes their children have a difficult time sort of getting through life in the shadow of a very famous parent. I think we're lucky enough that we've had careers, but we're not at the point where our children are completely sort of identified with their parents. Because I know that, I mean, I tell this story all the time. One of my daughters, when she was about 5 or 6, was with a friend, and they were having pizza or ice cream or something with a parent, the other kid's parent. And the other kid, they were talking about what their parents do. And the woman asked her own daughter, you know what daddy does, don't you? And she said, yeah, he makes wires in houses. And she says, that's right, daddy's an electrician. And you know what your daddy does, she says to my daughter. And my daughter went, yeah, he looks for work. But that's the experience of most actors. And it's been my experience, and I'm sure Ken's experience as well, and that is that there's not a sense of it's being anything but a job that dad does. And I think that's healthier.
Oh.
Hello, my name is Corey. I was wondering, what was your favorite scene to get put on the big screen?
What was your favorite scene to see on the screen? Yeah, what was your favorite scene to actually watch?
I think that Sally's song, after she's sort of putting herself together, isn't that what it happens in the movie? Is just heartbreaking, and at the same time, so beautiful. That's Danny Elfman, you know, this gorgeous music that he wrote for the piece. That's the one that I always go to, in my mind anyway.
You know, and it's interesting because I'm going to say this, but most people have never seen it. You might have found it on YouTube or somewhere. But in the Oogie Boogie song, there was a dance section. His dance break, right? And there was this whole musical section where he just danced. Yeah, and they did this stuff like that was sort of like Fantasia, where he was in different colors and all these different things. And that I loved because it was sort of separate from my work. It was their creative visual work. And it's not in the film. It was edited out of the film. But you can find it. It floats around somewhere. But if you can, look for that, because that's my favorite. I like Oogie dances, you know. It's really, it's like a big dance break, so it's really fun. That's what I love.
Thank you. Also, little side note, I've been Jack Skellington for Halloween for the last 4 years.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Whoa.
Hi, I'm Sadie, and first I wanted to say that I will genuinely die on this hill that this is one of the greatest films ever made, and I have gotten into yelling arguments with my friends defending it. I wanted to ask, did you ever in a million years expect this movie to become as iconic as it is? And did you ever have a moment where you were just out and about and you realized that it's so big and you're like, wow, I am so proud to be part of this project?
Constantly. Especially this time of year, Halloween, Christmas. Yeah, I mean, there's no avoiding it now, but that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, very. Friends of mine, because there's always, every year just about there's new merchandise that's put out. So I have friends always calling me going, I saw another Oogie. I saw it at Target. I saw it at Walgreens. I saw it at And I think for me, it's a realization as well. But for them, they're like, so that's really big, huh? I said, yeah, it is all over the world. It's pretty big. They still, like my nieces and nephews, my friends still don't really associate it with me. It's like a thing that's out there, and I'm sitting at the table with them eating oatmeal. They don't know, But yeah, it's amazing. And no, I didn't ever think that it would be what it is ever.
Yeah, nor did I. No, and the merchandising, as you all know, just doesn't stop, right? It's just constant. And some of the stuff is very original. Somebody brought an advent calendar that's like this size, and it has windows, and I mean, who thinks of that? Same people that made the movie, maybe?
Yeah, probably not. Somebody gave me an Oogie Boogie nutcracker. He's got a Santa beard on, which is kind of strange and odd, but it's and I said, what? How does he crack the nuts? And they turned it around, and there's a thing in the back where you put the nut in and slam it down. And I thought, wow, okay.
Oogie's butt.
Yeah, Oogie's butt. The nutcracker. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we only got a couple minutes left, so we're going to get through these questions here.
Name's Will. If you voice acted the Kingdom Hearts games, which I love, I just want to know what your experience with those, because it was great to be able to be inserted into your world, into that world, as a character who's experiencing it for the first time. I just want to know what your memories or experiences recording for those games were.
For the recording for the game? Yes.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts specifically. It's just a character who gets to get involved into your world here and there, but yeah.
For me, it was another level, because, having done the film, it was more character-driven. For me, the games were more about the action part of it and making the sounds that went along with choices they could make in the game and things like that. So it was sort of a learning thing for me. Yeah. They would say, okay, this is the choice where this happens, and you'd have to match whatever Oogie might be saying if he was stuck with a stick or something. I don't know. So it was a learning thing, but it's an amazing process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different from actually recording for the movie. And it is lots of repetition and lots of, okay, give us 10 different screams, give us, 10 different expressions of surprise, 10 different, it's very kind of, in many ways, mechanical, because that's they have to piece everything together and then obviously create the algorithms in the game. I don't know about any of it.
Yeah, I got to team up with Jack and beat up Oogie. It was a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Kate. My question, unfortunately, is a little more geared toward Chris, if that's okay. Growing up, The Princess Bride and then The Nightmare Before Christmas were two of my absolute favorite movies. But as kids do, I wasn't really thinking about actors. And it wasn't until 2 years ago when I saw for the first time Fright Night and Child's Play that I was like, who is this guy? He's great. But it's coming from earlier, you mentioned having an interest in these really literary classic stories, and my question is, how did you come into horror in the 80s? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? For a wider question for both of you, are there other projects that you maybe didn't expect to see yourself in and kind of remember for a particular reason and enjoyed?
Well, I'll make a long story short, and that is that I was never expecting to do a movie that was called Fright Night. At the time, I had just finished Tale of Two Cities, a great, literary classic. I was doing Broadway. I had done the Devil's Disciple on stage with Rex. I mean, I was doing all kinds of prestige stuff. And I looked at the title of the movie, and they were offering it to me. They said, "This is an offer. Read the script." And I went, "I can't do a movie called Fright Night. I'm a classically trained actor, and I'm an Academy Award nominee, and I can't. I'm sorry." But I thought I owe it to them to read it because it's been offered. I opened the script, and within 10 minutes, I went, "This is really good. This is really interesting." And by the time I finished it, I said, "I have to meet these people." And the lesson is, there's a great line from a Phil Barry play called The Philadelphia Story. The time to make up your mind about people is never. So as soon as you have a preconceived idea about something, you've already eliminated a lot of possibilities in your life. And so it was a great experience. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm still close friends with all the cast. We get together all the time. It got me to do Child's Play as well. So, you got to follow sort of what your instinct tells you is the right thing to do. And that's how I ended up doing it, and I'm glad I did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, last question, no pressure.
Hi, my name is Keith, and when you had brought up the Advent calendar of all things, I just had to bring up that I actually work at a Christmas museum up in Cleveland, and I don't think you understand how deep Nightmare Before Christmas has infiltrated. Because it's the Christmas Story house. You'll shoot your eye out, kid, all that stuff. Meanwhile, we have an entire corner of our gift shop dedicated to the Nightmare Before Christmas with a Jack and Sally leg.
Oh, wow.
So, with that in mind, what would you say is the weirdest place you've ever seen Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, or maybe it shouldn't have been?
I can't think of any place that I've been, that it shouldn't have been, because it's certainly not, offensive to any particular religious group or I mean, these days everybody gets offended, so what the hell. But I can't really think of anything.
Thank
you. Me either.
So that is our time for today. But real quick, if you can just quickly express your thoughts on, again, this is 30th anniversary of Nightmare Before Christmas. And like you said, it was a set it and forget it. You recorded, you did it. But now here we are in 2023. You get to look in the whites of people's eyes whose lives have been truly affected by this movie by coming to events like GalaxyCon. What is that like for you?
It's always when I do these things, the experience is unparalleled in any other part of my life. And it's wonderful that we get a chance to see and interact with you guys. That's what this is about. So thank you.
And also, I would say the same thing. Also, to me this year, for some reason, 30 years hit me that's almost half of my life, right? And
it's weird because you're 37.
That's right. It's a miracle. But, it really did hit me that this is something that has grown incrementally through the years. How fortunate we are that as voice actors in this, that we get to actually be in front of you and see you. And that it's something that I know, I don't get choked up, will go on beyond me. And not all of our work as artists gets to live on beyond us. It may be really fabulous at the moment it happens, but people forget about it. This is something generationally, as someone said, that we now know, or I should say, I now know, will live on well past me, And that's a very, very special gift to have.
That you have given us, by the way.
You have given us, yeah.
So that is our time. Thank you very much